Welcome back, dear traders. Our analysts are ready to share the review and the forecast of the US financial markets. As expected, Wall Street clicked into gear on a Thursday. Investors welcomed positive corporate reports which added to the overall optimism. Previously, investors were encouraged by the Fed's minutes. Is the bull market around the corner? Optimistic market sentiment propelled a rally in the major stock indexes. The Dow Jones closed 1.6% up, the Nasdaq gained 2.7%, and the S&P 500 grew 2% to close at 4,057 points. The index eventually topped the level of 4,000. The pre-market today suggests further growth. Wall Street indexes grew modestly by 0.3 or 1.2%. The S&P 500 is expected to trade in the corridor between 4,020 points and 4,150 points. Three key stock indexes are poised to snap their protracted losing streak. The odds are that the S&P 500 will complete its 7-week losing streak. The Dow Jones is likely to stop its 8-week downtrend. As of today, both indexes have grown almost 4% this week. The Nasdaq have regained 3.4%. The indexes are closing with the strongest weekly gains since mid-March. The catalyst for optimism is certainly the US Fed. In the minutes, the regulator indicated that it would take a break in aggressive monetary tightening in the autumn. Besides, according to the second estimate, the US GDP contracted 1.5% in the first quarter. Retail sales data revealed that consumer spending remained robust in the first quarter despite soaring inflation. Investors were pleased about the financial reports from the US top retailers such as Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and the Macy's. Last week, the market took a hit by a decline in Walmart and Target. And today, clothing retailer Gap reported serious losses. In turn, its stock dropped 19% in the pre-market. Costco stock also went down in light of reported 2% losses. Today, the stock market could find support from high-tech stocks. Investors are reviving faith in the development of high-tech giants. Nvidia stock slumped 5% in the pre-market and regained losses later. Dell Technologies jumped 12.4% after the company reported upbeat quarterly corporate profits and revenue. GameStop stock surged by 67%, thus indicating a growing appetite for risk. Big tech companies added 2 or 7.5% yesterday, and the fundamental environment on Wall Street is positive. Investors are poised to resume buying after a protracted downtrend. While the stock market is overwhelmed by hopes, the US dollar looks gloomy. Its index sharply fell to 101.43 for the first time since April 25. The index has lost 1.3% for the week, closing on Friday with the worst weekly losses since the first week of February. The index is closing in the red for the second week in a row, and today it's trading at around 101.70, tending to extend the decline. The intraday corridor for today is seen between 101.30 and 101.90. The US currency is weighed down by the prospects of a pause in the rate hikes. Fresh stats does not scare investors as the data comes in line with the expectations. The PCE price index showed that inflation eased to 2.2% in April on month, following a 0.9% increase in March. An annual rate also slowed down to 6.3% from a record high of 6.6% a month ago, matching the forecasts. Traders cheered better than expected data on personal spending. The actual reading rose 0.9% on month, surpassing the forecast of a 0.7% increase. And it proves that consumers are still poised to spend money despite high consumer prices. They expanded spending on services, vehicles and spare parts, but cut spending on petrol and energy. We understand that fresh statistics do not benefit the US dollar, so the greenback is set to close the week on the pessimistic note. The Canadian dollar is certainly taking advantage of the greenback's weakness. The USD CAD pair eventually escaped from the flat market, having broken 1.28 downwards. The currency pair is trading lower as the loonie is holding the upper hand. Today, the pair is trading at about 1.2730, nearly 100 pips lower than the opening price on a Monday and 30 pips lower than the opening price today. The Canadian dollar aims to continue its advance within the corridor between 1.2640 and 1.2790. So the USD CAD pair abandoned their flat market. Apart from the US Fed, the loonie received support from the oil market. Yesterday, WTI climbed 3.38% to $114 a barrel. Brent crude rose 2.98% to trade at $117.41. However, benchmark rates are trading mixed today, though still at elevated levels, so the loonie strength rests on solid fundamentals. The crypto market has come under pressure again. Bitcoin tumbled by 5.28% today to $28,155. Ethereum plummeted 9.31%. The doom and gloom were followed by a spike in the top crypto assets. Bitcoin was trading at $29,150 at the moment of recording this video, generating signs of a recovery. In essence, the token is still trapped within the range of $28,200 to $32,000. However, the intraday corridor today is seen between $28,500 and $30,600. If Bitcoin breaks the upper border, we could expect its growth to $32,100. To sum up, despite high volatility, Wall Street is going to close this trading week with gains. Have a nice weekend and see you online on Monday.